Man, artist I way and so sometimes I get that inspiration or a elevation, it's the same. But you see these topics that I try to speak about, especially upon the Sunday, yeah, the ground there where me know some people them inside and them kinda, I hold back a meditation for build forward for the week coming. I mean I look forward to the news here and it's a sad news coming through straight out of Spanish Town, St. Catherine. A popular social media personality has been killed once again. Yeah, and the blogger goes by the name of Mish Yaganti. And his real name is Nigel Walford. And I'm going to take a moment and talk about the danger that the vloggers in Jamaica them are face. And me I wonder if this is like a new assault on information. Like me I tell you, a lot of us seems to have the mentality of the pagans. So, I know see a Sunday I want to have things for do. So just put the phone on speaker and when you get a chance, just leave a comment. So right now we're going to talk about Nigel Walford, a popular social media blogger that was killed in Spanish Town. Yeah, me I talk about the youth, August Town 876. Me I talk about Mish. Yes, my families and friends. Yeah, it's Rastafari Soldier again. Your greetings and salutations to all my subscribers. And if this is your first time tuning in to the Rastaman channel, I'm asking you to hit the red subscribe button. Help build up the Rastaman panel. Now, it appears that there has been a fatal shooting in Red Pan in the parish, St. Catherine in the Spanish Town area. I guarantee one man is fatal and another was left nursing his wound at the hospital. Reports are that Walford was getting into a taxi cab in the Red Pan area shortly after 11 a.m. Miggle Day, when armed men approached him and opened fire. The taxi driver was also injured during the incident. Both were taken to the hospital and Nigel Walford was pronounced dead. The 32-year-old Nigel Walford goes by the social media moniker Meech. He has regularly expressed views on news and current affairs on several media platforms, including Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, including stranded views regarding law and policing in Jamaica. The Campion College alumni, also created a moderate following in Instagram, a site called August Town 876. Walford was born and raised in August Town. However, he was living outside of the community in recent years after being dragged before the courts for cyber-related criminal issues. He was detained April 2020 by detective assigned to the Counter-Terrorist and Organized Crime Investigation Branch, the CTOC. He was eventually released on bail after being detained for several days. After several subsequent court appearances, the case was eventually dropped last December. He was represented at the time by King's Counsel Valerie Netta. Now, this latest discovery and tragic of this 32-year-old social media personality would have stirred different police and officials to look into this. But at the time now, it appears that the investigation into the death of Nigel has not picked up any speed, because the police are reporting that there's no motive, there's no information, and they're asking anyone with any information on the death or the shooting incident that took the life of Nigel Meach Walford to call the 119 or the local Spanish Town police station. Now it appears that Jamaican vloggers seems to be the new highly threat job in a Jamaica, because we know say the DJ industry, the dancehall industry, is one of the most fatal industry in a Jamaica. But it appears that Jamaicans want to stay behind the cover of darkness. So you have a man like Nigel Walford, aka Meach, from the Augustown area. Obviously, it seems like his hand was not too clean, because the magistrate had to draw him up in front of him or her, if you know what I mean, for cyber criminal activities. But it appears that in the Red Pond area, them never rate Nigel. It appears that in the Spanish Town area, Augustown, Nigel body was found. He was entering a taxi cab when the gunman threw him down. The cab be lucky him pick up few rounds, but it appears that he's going to survive the injuries. But again, not to make light of the situation, ladies and gentlemen, you have to know who you are hang out with, who are your friend. Now, Nigel knows say him there in some area like Spanish Town, Augustown. Him can depend certain topics because criminals, police, governments, them a watch it. I me tell you, especially a place like Spanish Town, many body found. Pan the compound, even in a the cane piece, you find them lay down. In a dirty water, them drown. Even in a shallow grave. Right now, you have a man like Black Man. They're on trial. And a lot of things are going on in a Spanish Town. Spain Town right now, I got turn up hot. But again, people, the people them I deal with, the vloggers them in a Jamaica, like say, them the one with it speak about Wagwan. And me a call upon the government for look into this case, because the vloggers them help expose certain corruption, illegality, and help expose and proliferate news across society. So if you don't want upon a vlogger channel, then you should not be doing criminality, because a lot of vloggers take it up on themselves to try to improve society by exposing the Lord lascivious and illegal action attitude, not only of the citizens, but also of the government entity. Sometimes people are taken advantage of. Sometimes policies and laws are not correct. Sometimes you need some education or edutainment, and then the vloggers them provides that. So the people them have to look out for the vlogger them. The government have to look into when these vloggers are taken out, when crime are committed against these media personalities and personnel, then it make people unwilling to provide information for the law officers, and it make people unwilling to participate in a free society. You are going to the vloggers them are the one that provide information and seek information. And me know Jamaicans have an attitude about getting information. Them say you are informer, but when the shows is on the other foot, them want all the information them can get. Look, I am not here to expose no crook, but from it in the paper, log on to The Approach TV, you can hear it later. Cause I am here to expose the corruption, the folly, and give the people them that deserve respect, them dignity. Here you have a youth that has been slain, taken away from their family too early, that's the truth. Him only 32. 32-year-old Nigel Walford, aka Mitch. Ladies and gentlemen, it's being reported that the 32-year-old was entering a taxi cab. In the middle of the day, 11 a.m. And a gunman was brazen enough to walk up and take this young man's life. It's an unfortunate situation, and the people of Augustown in the Red Pan area deserve better. And I'll tell you straight up, people, Jamaica now get better unless the people them demands better. You cannot live your whole life in fear and have your children them come live them whole life in a fear. It's like we don't have no testicle fortitude or we don't have no care. Which one is it? Because man have to live for something. And also people, you know, a lot of our youths them are die for nothing. So don't you think it would make sense that we stand up? Because Bob Marley been telling us, if we get up and if we stand up, when are we going to protest about the violence that's being committed against our young people? We surpassed 1,500 murders last year. In a time when we're coming out of our egregious pandemic, when we should be, being sombered and thinking about the importance of life. Here we are. We wipe out every spark of light that appears to be shining in a Jamaica. Now, I have a couple other stories here where I do want also touch into. Because, you only can talk so much about certain topics. Now, we notice the road deaths them in a Jamaica are still climbing. And it seems like these people don't have any kind of restraint as far as when them out in the street, my generals and my empresses. We have to use some kind of restraint in a Jamaica on the road. Because it's been reported say over 10 traffic deaths in 24 hours for last week. And our peers say the people them are hold up on them hardcore driving. It was last week that, 3 different people died, 3 young men died returning from a beach. And it appears that the traffic minister, they are pleading to the people of Jamaica for use care on the road. Right? Because I know you alone, unfortunately, I died in these tragic accidents, Many people are losing their life. Innocent people are losing their life. And the whole 10 people killed in traffic crashes in 24 hours in little Jamaica, including 5 young men in one incident. The police have issued road safety tips imploring drivers that they should drive responsible and take necessary precautions to keep the road safe for others and passengers and anyone else who could be harmed in collision. The police state, while we do not have control over everything's happening on the road, there are several things that we can do to lessen the fatality and to urge drivers to use precaution. One, they say, stay alert. When I was in the military, that was one of my saying. Stay alert, and you're supposed to say, stay alive. So the officers say, while driving, actively observe both your behavior and other drivers on the road. Himself, you use your turn signals before turning. Make sure you use your turn signal because it alerts another person what your intentions are. And me notice that we just zip cross. And I notice the person will just zip cross, him I do it because when him signal to the next person mean. Be kind on the road when you drive and not feel your road alone. The officer say, buckle up. One of the most important thing in driver safety tips is to always fasten your seat safety belt. It decreases the risk of injury in the case of an accident. Follow traffic signs, pay close attention, obey the signs them. For some reason, a spade way a spade up when we see the light turning before we start slow down. See there? Respect yellow lights. Remember, the yellow light means that you need to slow down, prepare to stop. It should not be viewed as a step on the gas, rush through the intersection before the light turn red. And that it used for real. Come to a complete stop. When you see the stop light turn red, bring the vehicle to a complete stop. Put down the phone. Operating mobile device causes distraction while driving. Put down the phone. Obey speed limit. Take your foot off of the gas. You have too much of a lead foot. It is important to stay within the recommended speed because the people them test it. And if you're not sure, slow down. Make them go round you. Also, no drive under the influence. No influence under the herbs. Don't drink no alcohol because when you're impaired, it mess up your judgment. Make sure your vehicle properly maintained is the 10th one. Ensure your vehicle is in good working condition. For some reason, none of the AC no work. So when it start rain, the place just messed up. Make sure the brakes are work. If you can't stop, what you gonna do? Especially half forward from Galdeville to Senti and I come down Spurchy, you can't tap. People, me want to know if you know say, who know a kill off people on the road. Traffic accident is the second most deadly thing in a Jamaica. Imagine that. Next to the petrol, the blatter land. Yes, I'm talking about homicide by the gun. It's unfortunate. You can almost report upon these two incidents every day. homicide by firearm, or traffic death. Now, me also want to look into another thing when me see in the news. And excuse my language, me couldn't believe it rotted. I saw in the news that Canada, I don't know, believe this, you know. Canada was granted by license to ship the Cali to Jamaica. You can't believe that? Let me know if you believe that Canada has now have permission to export the herbs, the ancients, to Jamaica. As the Jamaican farmers, of course, are paid off. Not for the Rastaman them and just the regular farmer them. I see what kind of idiot thing this on the depend. Because this in itself now is going to create another competition. When we there so I go and plan for make a money off of the tourists them now when no say that is one of the main reasons why them visit Jamaica. Here comes Canada bringing their product to Iron Island. Now the license to import ganja in Jamaica is a real deep infiltration of one of our main resources. Like Canada have been using my people for decades as farmers and workers and gaining the knowledge that those farmers and workers have out of Jamaica. Now they have looked at Jamaica as a breadbasket because of the rate of consumption of this medicinal plant. In the land of food and water, some might say the land best known for marijuana. Despite that, there are plans afoot to import the herbs from Canada, as North American country has been granted license to do just that, leaving the local ganja farmer from the areas up in arms over this decision and says they are exploiting and we should be exporting the miracle plant into Canada instead. The president of the Jamaican Cannabis License Association, Rear Admiral Hardly Lewin, labeled the announcement as scandalous and also told ganja growers to holster their weapon and keep their powder dry in a WhatsApp message, noting that Canada's cannabis licensing authorities was aware of the controversy created by the latest development. I had a meeting with the chairman of the CLA, the Cannabis Licensing Association. He recognized the annex in the industry. It is anticipated a full review will be done. Rear Admiral Hartley Levine told members of the local farming community. CLA was established in 2015 with a specific role to establish and regulate Jamaica's legal cannabis and hemp industry. There are approximately 60 members in the WhatsApp group from all over Jamaica. Hardly Lewin continued his energetic response and made sure that these members were confirmed board members. He was angered by this news as he responded to the latest development by stating that he learned and later confirmed that the CLA board has a fact-approved importation of cannabis into Jamaica from North America. The country obtained the necessary permit after applying for an importation license. Lewin stated, "I will not fault the licensee, but I find it disturbing and indeed scandalous that we could allow import from a state to which we cannot export," the Rear Admiral stated. The Jamaican Dangerous Drug Act requires those who seek to import cannabis into Jamaica to obtain an importation license from the CLA, a cultivation license, a processing license, a retail license, or a research and development license is required to obtain an importation license. So, let me go through this here again. The boy them this program, and I go on like say, them never this program. Because right now, the farmer them supposed to vex. Because when the boy them come in at my place and I go on like say, yo, the herbs is going to be recognized next. Them never look like say, them a come put for them thing in. So you know what them all deal with like me. I tell me people, them want to kill out the seeds of we breed and bring in for them seedless seed and mash them with crops them. That's what they're doing. The land of wood and water. Me can't believe when me are here. Say Canada get a license to import the medicinal product cannabis into Jamaica. And the head of the Jamaican Cannabis License Association, Rear Admiral Hardly Lewin, said the announcement was scandalous and told the growers in the CLA, the cannabis licensing authorities, to hold their horses, and said that he have met with the chairman of the CLA and has recognized that this industry has rolled over to Canada. The CLA was established 2015 with the role of regulating Jamaica's legal cannabis and hemp industry. Now in the WhatsApp group there was 60 people. Hardly Lewin continued his angered response later development by stating that he learned, he confirmed, because he might tell the people themselves who are learning. You know. Nobody run out there and make it look like say, "Ray, me need to find out." But him has said, in fact, the CLA has approved the importation of cannabis into Jamaica from North America, which is Canada. Me can't believe. Me can't believe. Them said the country obtained the necessary permit after applying for the importation license. It is not the licensee's fault. But I find it disturbing indeed, scandalous, as a matter of fact, that we could allow the importation from a state that does not allow way if you send it to them. The Jamaican Dangerous Drug Act requires that a person seeking importation of the cannabis into Jamaica to obtain license from the CLA. Yes, people. So at the CLA have to issue a license either to cultivate, process, retail, research, develop. Me can't believe say Jamaica sell out the herbs like this. But I know where you think, my family and friends. Let me know where you think about this. Now, earlier in the week, I report about Marcia Griffiths story now. Because it appears that Marcia Griffiths now going to get back her money here, you know. Because the man where them arrest for Marcia Griffiths' money seems to have had a stroke. Now, if you don't know about this case, people, Marcia Griffiths was robbed, gypped out of 30,000 US dollars. 30,000 US dollars. And it appears that the judge are trying to get back Marcia money. But it appears that the brethren where scam Marcia has fallen sick. So I am speculating say it's a wicked lick him get. Because right now, that the man they spend up the money, it's been reporting that he told the judge that he had assets. Right? He had assets that he could liquidate and pay back Marcia Griffiths our money. Come to find out. I mean, don't want to laugh because it's funny, you know. A serious thing I go on in a family and friends. Come to find out, the man don't have no money. A chicken a judge. So, you know what I'm saying? Marcia did not take it easy as far as, you know, that's 30 grand or nothing. That's 4.5 million Jamaican dollar that. I don't know that for the queen of reggae. Because this is the queen of reggae. The true living queen. Salute her. But that little thief in man when he am Ray Morgan. A Ray Morgan him name, yeah. Like Henry Morgan. Yeah, probably one of Henry Morgan picking them. Great. Yeah, pirate this. Now him confess for scamming the reggae songstress Marcia Griffiths of millions. Like me saying, 4.5 million Jamaican dollar. And it's being reported right now, people say him suffer a stroke. Don't ramp with mama. You are going to don't ramp with mama. Them thing you call turn back blow. You are going to Mr. Morgan is not doing well at all. It does not look good for him. The senior parish judge, Lorian Montague share in the Kingston and St. Andrew parish of the court on Wednesday. This latest development is another setback for Griffin's bid to get repaid for her 30,000 US. And that's approximately 4.5 million. Morgan skimmed this off our people. Let me tell you how this boy had teeth. A boy a thief away say, he make up a story for Marcia. Him tell Marcia say him do want create a museum for preserve our legacy. Approximately 2021, him approach Morgan and talk about him is a property manager. And him settle a deal, basically. And said that, you know, him just need some money for stamp off on the loan, because him will get it financed for Marcia Graphics. Now, him never get nothing financed for Marcia Graphics. And ran out with Marcia Graphics money. Now, it's reported that, you know, Morgan told Griffiths that there's a property that costs over $2 million US. A big thing him a deal with it now. And along with him and his alleged overseas colleagues, they would finance and construct the museum sometime in 2022. Morgan told Griffiths. And he continued communicating with him. And he would speak to his overseas party to expedite the process. But him tell the reggae star that the singer would have to purchase a property of $500,000. But him said, no worry about it. We are going to buy it in your name. But to purchase the property, you're going to need to give us $30,000 to stamp our duty in a US money. Me don't understand them thing. Because anytime a boy a chat about me, if you give him things for stamp and this and that, me don't know say a scam. So poor Marcia Graphics hand over the money to him and later receive few talks, you know, few phone call. Now Morgan got the money through wire transfer payment. And then Marcia Griffiths now a link him. She made multiple attempts to contact him. And Morgan stopped answering phone. Rip for the woman money to blouse and skirt. So him never know say mama have links. So mama links just jam up in a court. Find a little dirty thief, a little Henry Morgan grandson, and lock him up. And you say through senior parish judge Laurie Ann Cole Montague is well connected from the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court area. She not give him no bail. No. Him promise if you give back mama the money. And I'll know him can't run it. So guess what? Mama just line up a thing upon him. And like a year Cole Montague said, it's not looking good for this thief. You got thiefing boy. Thief for 30,000 US. Over $4.5 million from a beautiful reggae queen. And mummify them for mummify him and put him in a foundation if you know what I mean. Them people are too thief. And a couple of people me don't like is a liar and a thief. So you see, you tune into the approach TV. And me know say the talk I go long. So me decide some just so deal with it like a true Rasta man. But the Sunday them just cover something whether we are go forward over it or what sir have you. Yaganti. So if you miss it, in the evening you can forward it back. If you're in your house right now, just put the phone on speaker man and go and do what you do. Because you have to cook your rice and peas. Because, don't make because me dep on YouTube attack. You burn up your phone. Put it on a speaker. I'm not trying to be rude. But I'm explaining to you. The boy a Ray Morgan, bright and feisty. You can think, and some me know say all them prisoners are in a court or in a jail. It's like the prisoner them not no use. Like say, them turn soft. Like them do crime for go hang out with them man friend them and them boyfriend them. And see man with them boxers done. Cause them boy should have some damage done to him. Although them say him hand wasn't moving too well. Like somebody broke up in your hand like him get look up pressure. Him take man for fool for real. Him take people for fool. So, as this boy a try to escape the judgment, figure say Judge Montague, he just tell him straight up, say, yo, no bother with it, no bother go on like say, you're too sick or whatever. So I don't know if I stress I hold him. Because in October 26, 2022, Judge Montague tell him straight up, when me ram up this sentence in underneath you, you're not escaping imprisonment. That's what she tell you. The judge stressed to Morgan that he would not escape imprisonment. He has pled guilty to 2 counts of obtaining money by means of false pretense. But however, Morgan has not appeared in court on subsequent date. It is not until Tuesday. It was not until Tuesday that the reason of his absence was shared. The court was told, right, that an attempt is being made to have Ray Morgan transferred to another correctional facility that can administer additional health care. He cannot walk. Y'all me not rejoice for no boy failure, you know. And nobody down, you know. I'm just letting you know. Or no things say man see a head tie up for nothing. Or no things say mama assault fish. Or no things say mama no highly connected. Eh? Or no make me know family and friends. Because them a say Ray Morgan, the one who rip off Marcia for the 30,000 US, 4.5 million Jamaica. You know what man he do for 0.5 million? He cannot walk, but he will have to come here at some point. The senior jurist indicate the matter was set to mention on May 4th. Listen. It just not ramp with this a fool, yeah, man. It just not, the judge tell him straight up, you nah miss the judgment when me have for you. You nah miss the judgment when me have for you. Now, another news when me pick up on family and friends was a serious news when me not see no bag I really pray. And this Nordstream pipeline thing here. Because it appears that there's a Pulitzer Prize winner, Seymour Hersh, that has made a shocking announcement that a lot of people are not covering, saying that, it appears that the United States of America is the one that's more likely, responsible for the actual destruction of, the Nord Stream pipe. Let me correct my title them here, so cause that no look right. So, people, I want to know let me know if you want to hear about this particular situation here. Because if this was another country that actually did this to the United States, what would be going on in a land? Because that me I hear a go on pan what a go on. So, I'm going to look into the article here and we'll discuss what really a go on pan what a go on. Like me saying up on the Sunday, we'll try to touch over few things but we touched upon already. And then touch few things again. But it appears that a lot of the media in the United States is not touching this particular topic. You understand? It appears them not touch this here topic. As you know that all of the Russian media have been blocked in the United States, so nobody can see nothing. But it's been reported here by legendary journalist Seymour Hersh that the Nord Stream pipeline was destroyed by the United States. Now, the Nord Stream pipeline is a gas pipeline that runs in between Russia and Germany and actually supplies Europe with a lot of gas. Now, it appears that this journalists have came under fire for making such a damning statement. But a lot of conspiracy theorists, a lot of people who have a free thinking mind has dove into this, has sourced direct knowledge of the sabotage. The unwitty, anonymous source from Seymour Hersh alleged that the Nord Stream pipeline in September 2022 was blown up with explosive planted in June by U.S. divers during a NATO exercise in the Baltic Sea, and the Norwegian Navy detonated them 3 months later. Hersh is not no piany reporter, people. Hersh a serious top man. Hersh is a Pulitzer Prize winner from 1970. Them man ya do them thing ya. He revealed the My Lai massacre during the Vietnam War using a single source of report. And the so-called conspiracy theory, it was controversial, but it was proven true. The White House has rejected all of Hersh's allegations that the U.S. is behind the sabotage. It is utterly false, complete fiction. But Hersh argued that the pipeline represented a political threat of cheap Russian natural gas for Germany and Western Europe, and competition for the United States gas export. For the most critical readers, her story lies somewhere between disinformation and a hoax. But for others, free thinkers like I and I, anything is possible. Rastafari Soldier is telling you that. It is not the first time that Hearst has ruffled administration, because back in 2013, he ruffled the Western government by accusing the Syrian president Bashar al-Assad to order chemical weapons to attack on Ghouta and the suburbs of Damascus. So this general here, the reporter, is a groundbreaker. He likes to challenge the mainstream and then report on things that are leaks. Him not like to give out all of his information, because if you give out your information, nobody now go trust you. Me want you to tell me, from New York all the way to Brussels, you on Deep Roots TV, let me know. Pan the Free Youth TV, what do you think of this damning report about the United States of America? As a lot of newspapers are reeling as they try to cover the footprints of the administration of the United States that is around. Because this controversial report by Seymour Hersh has renewed the investigation upon this publication that claimed the United States was responsible for the destruction of the Nordstream pipeline that transport natural gas to Germany from Russia. It is possible because if we recall, September 26, 2022, the Nord Stream pipeline, the natural gas pipeline from Russia to Germany, was largely destroyed by several explosives in the Baltic Sea. I'm talking about in a German water between Russia and Germany. Now, like I'm telling you, the award-winning investigative reporter Seymour Hersh published this article, and this article is based on information from a single anonymous source, and he's arguing that the Biden administration and the CIA were responsible for the destruction of the Nord Stream pipeline. And I man now tell you if I'm right or wrong. All I'm saying, pan the Free Youth TV, pan Deep Roots TV, where you can think for yourself. Let me know what you think. Seymour Hersh says, what I have done is simply explain the obvious. It was just a story that was begging to be told. In late September of 2022, 8 bombs were supposed to go off. 6 went off underwater near the island of Bornholm in the Baltic Sea. In the area with rather shallow water, they destroyed 3 of 4 major pipelines in the Nord Stream 1 and 2. Nord Stream 1 has been feeding gas fuel to Germany for many years at very low price. And then both pipelines were blown up. And the question was why? And who did it? On February 7, 2022, in the build-up to the war in Ukraine, the President of the United States, Joe Biden, at a press release at the White House with German Chancellor Olaf, said that we can stop Nord Stream. The exact words from Joe Biden was, if Russia invades, there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it. And when a reporter asked how exactly he intended to do that, given the project was within the control of Germany, Biden just said, "I promise we will be able to do it." His Undersecretary of State, Victor Noland, who was deeply involved in what they called the Median Revolution in 2014, used similar language a couple of weeks earlier. You say that the decision to take out the pipeline was taken even earlier by President Biden. You lay out the story from the beginning, chronologically from December 2021, when the National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan convened, according to your piece, a meeting of a newly formed task force from the Joint Chief of Staff, the CIA, the State, and the Treasury Department. You wrote, Sullivan intended for a group to come up with a plan for the destruction of the 2 Nord Stream pipeline. Seymour Hersh. This group initially was convened in December to study the problem. They brought in the CIA and so on. They were meeting in a very secret office. Right next door to the White House, there's an office building that called the Executive Office Building. It is connected underground through a tunnel, and at the top of it is the meeting place for a secret group, an outside group advisor called the President's Intelligence Advisory Board. I only report that to let the people in the White House know that I know something. The meeting was convened to study the problem. What are we going to do if Russia is going to war? This is 3 months before the war, before Christmas. In 2022, it was a high-level group. It probably had a different name. I just called it the Interagent Group. Interagent Group. I don't know the formal name. If there was one, it was the CIA, the national security agents, which monitor and intercept communications, the State Department and the Treasury Department, which supply money, and probably a few groups that were involved. The Joint Chief of Staff had represented station as well. The big task they had was to give recommendation about what to do about stopping Russia. Measures that are either reversible, like more sanction and economic pressure, or irreversible, kinetic things, exploding things. For example, I don't want to talk specifically about any particular meeting because I have to protect my source. I don't know how many people were at the meeting. I don't know. I don't understand how many, if you understand what I mean. In the article, you wrote that in early 2000, the CIA worked with a group reported back to Sullivan's intelligence group, and they said, we have a way to blow up the pipelines. Seymour Hersh now said they did have a way. There were people there who understood what we call in America mine warfare. In the United States Navy, there are groups that go into submarines. There are also one command about nuclear engineering, and there is a mining commander. Underground mining is very important, and we have the skills and the skilled miners. Probably the most important place for training miners is in this little resort town called Panama City in the middle of nowhere in Florida. We train very good people there and use them. Miners are very important. You get clogged entirely into ports. There are places where you blow up things in the way. If we don't like a certain country underwater pipeline for oil, we could blow them up too. It's not always good things they do, but they are very secretive. For the group at the White House, it was clear that they could blow up the pipelines. There were explosives called C4s, which is incredibly powerful, devastating, particularly with the amount that they use. You can control and operate it by remote with underground sensor device. They send very low frequency signal, so it's possible. And they told the White House that by early January, which 2 or 3 weeks later, under security of the state's Victoria Nuland said we can do it. I think this was January 20. And then the president, as well as Olaf, the German premier, said on February 7th that we could do it. Scholus, which is, Olaf Scholus, said nothing specific. He was vague. She was vague, or he was vague. But the question, and I would ask Scholus, if I had a preliminary hearing, did President Biden tell you about this? Did he tell you at that time why he was so confident he could blow it up? We didn't have a plan yet, but we knew we had the capability to do it. Wow. Seymour continue, well, Norway is a great seaman nation and they have underground energy. That's where they also were very anxious to increase the amount of natural gas they can sell to the Western and German market. And they have done that. They have increased their export. So for economic reason, why not join with the United States? They also have a residual dislike of Russia. Excuse me. In your article, you wrote that the Secretary or the Secret Service and the Navy of Norway were involved in the Sweden and Denmark in the short, brief story that you told. Seymour Hersh went on to say there's, a part that I put together here. If you didn't tell them, you don't need to tell them. In other words, you are doing what you are doing and they know what you're doing and they understand what you're going on to do. But maybe nobody ever said, yes, I worked on these kind of issues very much with people and I talk about it. The bottom line is, to do this mission, the Norwegian had to find the right place, the device, and were being trained in the Panama City could go to 300 feet underwater without heavy diving tank, only a mixture of oxygen and nitrogen and helium. The Norwegian found out a place off Bornholm Island in the Baltic that also only 260 feet deep, so they could operate. They would have to return slowly. There was a decompression chamber and we used the Norwegian submarine Hunter. Only 2 divers were used for the 4 pipelines. One problem was how to deal with those people who monitored the Baltic Sea. It is very thoroughly monitored, and there's a great deal of openly available information. So we took care of this. There were 3 or 4 different people for that. And what we then did is really simple. Every summer for 21 years, our Navy 6th Fleet, which has control of the Mediterranean and also the Baltic Sea, had a exercise for NATO navies in the Baltic. The Baltop is the name of the exercise, and we'd bring a Navy carrier, a large ship around it, and was a very open thing. The Russians certainly knew about it. We did publicity, and in this one, for the first time in history, the Baltic Sea NATO operation had a new program. It was going to have an exercise in dropping mines and finding mines for 10 to 12 days. Several nations sent our mining team, and one group would drop the mine and another mine group from their country would go hunt below and bring it up. So you had a period where there were things blowing up, and in the time of the Norwegian could recover, deep sea divers. The two pipelines run about a mile apart. They're under the dirt a little bit, but they are near enough to the hard surface where you can practice around them. It's not far-fetched that they did this for a few hours, and it only take them a few hours to plant the so-called detonators. Yes, so the writer here, I'm reading an article here which is very interesting, so I don't want to stop right now. So, if you have something to do it. So, this was in June of 2022. Seymour Hersh responded, yes, they did it around 10 days into June and the end of the exercise. But at the last minute, the White House got nervous. The president said he's afraid of doing it. He changed his mind and gave them the order that he wanted the right to bomb anything, to set the bomb off anytime remotely. You do it with just a regular sonar, actually, or a Raytheon that a Raytheon build. You fly over and drop the cylinder down. It is send a low frequency signal. You can describe it as a flute sound. You can make different frequency, but the worry was that one of the detonators, if the explosive I'm saying, if left in the water too long, would not work, and two didn't. They only got 3 of the 4 pipelines. Wow. So there was a panic inside the group to find the right means, and they actually had to go to other intelligence agents. They didn't want to write about it. Now I'm reading an article here by Fabian Schelsder, and he asks, and so what happened then? They placed it, they found it, a way to control it remotely. Seymour Hersh said, yes, Joe Biden decided not to blow them up. It was in early June, 5 months into the war, but then in September, he decided to do it. I'll tell you something. The operational people, the people who do kinetic things for United States, they do what the president say, and they initially thought this was a useful weapon that he could use to negotiate. But at the same point, once the Russians went in and they went, and then when the operation was done, this became increasingly obvious to the people who did it. These are well-trained people. They are in the highest level of secrecy in intelligence agency. They turned on the project. They thought this was an insane thing to do, and within a week or 3 or 4 days after the bombing, after they did what they were ordered to do, there was a lot of anger and hysteria and hostility. This is obviously reflective in the fact that I'm learning so much about it. And I'll tell you something else. The people in America and Europe who build pipeline knows what happened. I'm telling you something important. The people who own companies that build pipeline know the story. I don't get the story from them, but I learn quickly. They know. Now, the writer of the article, Fabian, said, let's go back to this situation in June last year. President Joe Biden decided not to do it directly and postponed it. So they do it then in September. The Secretary of State, this is Seymour answering, the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, said a few days after the pipeline was blown up at a news conference that a major economic and almost military force was taken away from Vladimir Putin. He said this was tremendous opportunity as Russia could no longer weaponize the pipelines, meaning that it was not able to force Western Europe not to support the United States in the war. The fear was that Western Europe would not go along any longer with the war. It think that the reason they decided to do it then was that the war wasn't going well for the West. And they were afraid that the winter coming, the Nordstream 2 has been sanctioned by Germany and the United States, and was afraid that Germany would lift the sanction because of the bad winter. Now, Fabian asked, again, this is the writer of the article that I'm reading, okay, from Jacobin.com. According to you, what were the motives when you look behind the scene? The United States government was opposed to the pipeline for many reasons. Some say that they were opposed to because it wanted to weaken the ties between Russia and West Europe, Germany especially, but maybe also to weaken Germany economy. Why, after all, is a competitor to the United States economy with high gas price, enterprise have stated to move to the United States? So what your sense of motivation for the United States government if they blow up the pipeline? Now, Seymour Hersh's answer, I don't think they thought it through. I know this sounds strange. I don't think that Blinken and some of the other administration are deep thinkers. There certainly are people in the American economy who like the idea of using, us being more competitive. We're selling LNG, liquefied natural gas at extreme big profits. We're making lots of money on it. I'm sure there were some people thinking, boy, this is going to be a long time boost for the American economy. But in that White House, I think the obsession was always re-election, and they wanted to win the war. They wanted to get a victory. They wanted Ukraine to somehow magically win. They could be some people who think maybe, I'll be better for a economy if economy in Germany is weak. But the craziest thing that they're thinking, I think basically that we have bitten deep into something that's not going to work. The war is not going to turn out well for the government, says, Seymour Hersh. I don't think that matter. It doesn't matter that I think so. What I know is there's no way this war is going to turn out the way we want. And I don't know what we're going to do as we go through further down the line. It is, scary to me that the president was willing to do this. And the people who did this mission believe that the president didn't realize what he was doing to the people of Germany, that he was pushing economical war on them, punishing them for the war that wasn't going well. And in the long run, this is going to be very detrimental, not only to his reputation as a president, but political too. It is going to be a stigma for America. And the CIA was understood that, a lot of people are unhappy with what's going on. So what you think about this here? Because the interview kind of go on a little bit, so let me kind of complete it here. So what you have is a White House that thought it may have a losing card. Germany and West Europe may have stopped giving their arms, but wanted Germany, Chancellor, to, could turn the pipeline on. That was, always a fear to America. I could be answering a lot of questions to Chancellor. I would ask him what he learned in February when he was with the president. The operation was a big secret, and the president wasn't supposed to tell anybody about this capability. But he does talk. He say things that he doesn't want to. Now, the reporter that's talking to Seymour Hersh, Fabian Schelder, stated, your story was reported in Western media with some restraint and criticism. Some attacked it, your reputation, or said that you had only one anonymous source, and that's not reliable. Now, Seymour Hersh said, how could I possibly talk about a source? I've written many stories about a unnamed source. If I name somebody, they'd be fired, or worse, jail. The law is so strict. I've never had anyone exposed. And of course, when I write, I say, as I did in the article, it's a source, period. And over the years, the story I've written have always been accepted. I have always told the truth. I have used for this story the same caliber of skills, fact checker, as how I had worked when I was with the New Yorker magazine. Of course, there are many ways to verify obscure information, he told the reporter. And a personal attack on me doesn't give me any problem, nor get to the point. The point is that Biden chose to keep Germany cold this winter. The President of the United States would rather see Germany cold because of energy shortage than Germany possibly not supportive of the Ukraine war. And that, to me, is going to be a devastating thing for this White House, for me, and I think also for the people on the mission. It was appalling. Now, the reporter asks, the point is also that it can be perceived as an act of war, not only against Russia, but against Western allies, especially Germany. Let's keep it simple. I can tell you that the people involved in the operation saw the president as choosing to keep Germany cold for his short-range political goals, and that horrifies them. I'm talking about American people that are intensely loyal to the United States. In the CIA, it's understood that, I put it in my article, they work for the crown. They don't work for the Constitution. The one virtue of the CIA is that a president who cannot get his agenda through Congress and nobody listens to him can take a walk in the backyard of the Rose Garden of the White House with the CIA director, and somebody can get hurt 8,000 miles away. That's always been the selling point of the CIA, which is I have problem with. But even that the community is appalled that he chose to keep Europe cold in the support of a war that he'd not going to win. And that, to me, is heinous. Now, the reporter Fabian goes on to say, you said in your article that the planning of the attack was not reported to Congress, as is necessary, which other converts, like other covert operations. Now, Seymour Hersh said it wasn't reported to many places inside the military. There were places, people in other institutions that should have known. Excuse me. That should have known. Now, they did not know. It's a serious covert operation that took place. OSINT is the open source intelligence that's supposed to provide information on CIA planes. Now, there was some critique of the article by Peoples that says, engage in evaluation in the open source on the ships and the airplanes in the Baltic region, saying that no Norway plane were detected or spotted of the explosion on September 26th or for the date. And Hersh responds that any serious covert operator knows that the OSINT can, move around different blimps or radar. As I said, he said, there were people on the mission who took care of this issue. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what role does you think that the United States played in the part of the Nordstream pipeline? Now, Hersh did wrap up the article and said, what's courageous about telling the truth? Our job isn't to be afraid, and sometimes it gets ugly. There have been times in my life when I don't talk about it. Threats are different things. See, I just turned on the AC, so I'm sneezing. Yeah, threats don't affect me. Threats are made to, detour me, and to make people like me shut up. They haven't made me quiet. They have been made to me, from my children to my spouse. They have been awful stuff. But you don't worry about it. You can't. You have to just do your job. So you see, even Seymour Hersh, I got through the same thing where Jamaican flag of them got through. Now me there talk for a minute, so me really did want to touch upon the Nord Stream pipeline. Later on, me will touch upon some other things. But I'll go sign off on the channel right now. On the Sunday, I'll give you a little bit longer talk, cause to me it's a stronger talk. You ganti? Now, when did bring me in a minute ago. I'm going to look him up again and see if him can bring me in again. Cause a weeping and wailing him say, Cause the people them really don't have no love for them brother and sister. Them don't have no love for them brother and sister, family and friend. A joke thing. So I'm more life and I'm more joy and I'm more happiness. I man I say, give thanks for sticking with me. It's an awesome situation. Or a magnificent, you don't say. Awesome. It's a magnificent situation, you know what I say? So, a worldwide, me I send this out to all the people them. Make sure you love one another. Look into life like it's the greatest prize of all, because life is the greatest for family and friends. Right? I don't make nobody take it from you know what I say? You know, Rastafari Soldier, you're a deep road Stevie thing, you know? Yeah, more life and more joy, cause right now, my life on the set, it's a shame. Seems like the man in my report say United States and them blow up the Nordstream pipeline. You see, when I report like this now, them try to cut down my channel. You know what I say?
You and the team are pitching.
Yeah, them try to cut down my channel. But what I say is just go on, share up the thing for the Rasta man. I like me say, me I'll make your way bring me out. Yeah, I know you like Fire Key for bring me out, but I just sorry go, you know. Right now, it's a sad situation.
With a black or white
Yeah.
short,
Yeah, sorry go, you know. Them say, are the US blow up the Nordstream? Them not care about we at all. Where you wait say? A long time. A long time. Long time, me I tell you now. Babylon a crook. But that no mean say we are gonna give up. Yeah, I wait for them case. Yeah? Just subscribe, like, and share for me, you see? It's Rastafari Soldier, Dave Roach TV. Leave your comment, give me a thumbs up on the Sunday. Yeah. Them say a US blow up the Nordstream pipeline. One yam Russia food. Big up all my families and friends. Seymour Hirsch, prize winning journalist. Yeah, Pulitzer Prize winning journalist. Yeah, it's Rastafari Soldier. Yeah, big up on yourselves, eh? Lightning. Yeah, and I saw me all make it good still, you know. So me all make it good. Yeah, you know me have to make
So from them mix with the fire, them have to mix with the lightning. Them mix with the lightning, them have to mix with the thunder. Them mix with the thunder, them got to mix with the world. And there's some black people put up to keep them under. Hey, Babylon, me see them a fret and them a wonder. Who flashy like them and who roll the thunder. The blue flashy like them and him roll the thunder. But they can miss that them a panda. Look how much of the youth them will them put, look how much them put under. How much of the youth them will them send a dove cut ya. Where Babylon the fire burn no longer. Babylon the proofs will say you can't turn ya. Fire key, Rastaman and fire key. Whoa, fire key, Rastafari Soldier, fire key. Yeah,
Big up Deep Roots TV. Respect, make sure to tune in. We are every time.